Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Striplin? Here. Counselor Wood? Here. Counselor Brown? Here. Counselor Miller? Here. Counselor Reniger?
Here.
Counselor Bowles?
Here.
Counselor Fank?
Here.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order officially. The character trait of this month is alertness, being aware of what is taking place around me so I can have the right response. Fellow counselors, you should have received copies of the minutes, the council meeting from July the 17th, and the city council meeting and public hearing from August the 7th. At this time, the chair will accept any amendments or a motion to approve the minutes. Who moved? Councilor Fink has moved for approval of the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Bowes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented signify by raising your right hand. Any opposition by like sign? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. At this time, we will entertain any comments or questions pertaining to any business that needs to be brought before the City Council. Would anyone like to address the City Council on any item of business tonight? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward and give us your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Arrington Stice. I reside at 1189 East Main Street, Prattville, Alabama. I have been a resident of Prattville for 14 years. I come to you and address the City Council and its members and the mayor on two concerns today. And please excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to public speaking. This is my first time, so
Take your time.
Please bear with me. My first issue is I'm a new business owner. I've started hand painting on glass. I'm an art major, and so it's something that's very great and grand to me. Not too long ago, I have known someone, Mr. Barker, who owns the Jet Pet over on Cobbs Ford Road, who used to be able to sell items from new business owners on his property. I was all excited and getting ready to come out there and bring my items out there to sell, and he informed me that he received a letter stating that he was no longer allowed to do that. I understand the issues that were given to him and the reasoning why, but as a new business owner, I feel that this is a hindrance to other business owners who have not yet established to where they can open their own business. They need somewhere where they can break ground and get started. One of the issues that he was told was that he could not sell these items because of the fact that they had to go through their registers and have receipts taken for these items. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm being petty or anything, but Girl Scouts sell cookies outside of Walmart, and those do not go through Walmart's receipts. That goes straight to the Girl Scouts. There are other places that also do this sort of thing. I address you guys and ask for help in seeing as if we might be able to change this rule to where it benefits the vendor, the new business owner, and the city of Prattville. Make it to where possibly that the person who is selling these items has to have a city of Prattville issued license, and receipts have to be turned into both the business owner and the city of Prattville, so therefore it shows what income is brought in and can be taxable if the taxable is an issue. This way we are not limited. It also brings revenue in. The gentleman that was selling the tiki furniture in front of Jet Pet, he was bringing people in from Selma, Clanton, and even Birmingham. It was bringing revenue into Prattville. That is my main goal. I want to help my community, my city. I want to bring people here. I want to keep the business here. I want to keep the money here. Shoppers that come to Prattville will come to our stores, will come to our restaurants, will come to our shops. They will stay here. The money, therefore, will stay in Prattville. That is my first issue. My second issue is on yard sales. I know that in the past that there has been an issue where people have set up shop, so to speak, in their front yard all week long to sell items. I know it's an eyesore. I know it's a traffic issue. I know it's another problem because of taxing, because it's basically they've just started a store in their front yard. We would therefore have been limited to where we can only have 3 a year. This also hinders me because I'm an auction hunter. Yes, I'm one of those that you see on TV. I go and I buy the auction sellers out, and then I turn around and have a yard sale and sell it. It kind of is a hindrance to me that I could only do 3 a year because then it limits me once again to what I can do. I either have to pack up, go to Montgomery, set up in my parents' yard where they aren't held to where they have a limit to how much they can sell or how often they can sell. They're just limited to doing it on weekends. I'm asking you to consider and think possibly changing it to that. Instead of limiting us to just 3 a year, possibly take the opportunity and the time to think, well, maybe this will also bring revenue in, because once again, you have people from all different cities and towns coming into Prattville to look for those yard sales. Once again, bringing revenue and business into Prattville. Everybody that comes into Prattville and looking for a yard sale, well, we need a drink. Well, we're here, let's get lunch. Oh, I need to go to Walmart, let's grab this real quick. Once again, it's bringing people here into our city. So instead of limiting us to just 3 a year, maybe do it to where we can only do it on weekends and do it that way. And therefore, nobody is overstepping their bounds. Everything is not set up in front, and they don't set up shop in their front yard all day, every day, all week long. It's only allowed on weekends. Therefore, you still get the $5 for the license fee, but then you also have it to where more people like me don't feel limited and can also have more yard sales and be able to help Prattville and our own families. Thank you for your time.
Any questions for Ms. Sykes? Councilor Bowles.
Good job.
Thank you,
I know
sir.
it's very nerve-wracking standing up here looking. We're all sitting above you, staring down.
It's a little intimidating.
I'm sorry. Real quick, maybe this is more of a question for Mayor Gillespie or President Reniger. Who would be over that? Which committee over the business license or the business?
Business license would fall under the Finance Committee.
Okay. Well, I'd ask the Finance Committee maybe to pick that up next time. They're in my district, so if you don't mind, let me have the answer and I can bring it back to them.
I can do that.
And then same on the yard sales.
We can do that too.
Okay. Thank you.
Be happy to. Thank you so much for coming before us.
Thank you, Mr.
You were
Reniger.
very eloquent,
Thank you, sir.
and we will take everything that you said into consideration and do what we can to help.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck on elections, all of you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council on any item of business tonight? Okay, we'll move into the mayor's report. I'm sure the mayor has a report.
Election.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening. I didn't realize there was an election going on. Nobody got the Executive Order 101? I better stop while I'm ahead. They are saved by the bell over here. May I ask for a point of privilege?
By all means.
And may I ask for Captain Burton to come forward, please, sir? He has something he would like to say to the city and present, I believe, also.
City council members, mayor, it's good to see you again. Citizens of Prattville, it's great to have you guys here as well. We just returned. We're from Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 131st Aviation Regiment out of Montgomery. We just returned from a deployment in December, and some of our sister units came back in January, but after we got back, we started our reset project of getting our aircraft back, getting all the soldiers back, and back ingrained to civilian life. And in August, 1st of August, we had our family day, and it was basically just our intent was to give back to the families, because they suffer a great sacrifice when their husbands, their wives, their daughters, their sons are out doing the business of our nation. So we came to Mayor Gillespie and asked if he minded if we use the Cooters Pond Park, and it was okayed by him and I guess by the rest of the city council. So I want to thank you guys for giving us an outstanding venue to hold our family day. I was told by more than one family member on more than one occasion that it was by far the best family day that they had been in, and one of those was from our first sergeant's wife, who has been serving this nation for over 20 years. So a great honor to the city of Prattville. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to serve a community that is so willing to give back. We asked for several things from the city of Prattville, and you guys were more than welcome to accommodate us, and we have nothing but great things to say for that. Thank you very much for what each of you do and for giving back to the Alabama National Guard, to the families, and to your country. So thank you very much. So we'd like to present you guys with a flag that was flown on mission number 1106 for the Day Combat Service Support over Baghdad, Iraq, in a UH-60 Alpha Black Hawk helicopter from our unit, tail number 82-23705 on the 11th day of November 2011.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Scott Carr was one of the pilots that was on that aircraft who actually flew that flag over Iraq. And also, Miss Amy Carr, who's right here, is our family readiness group chairperson, who also did an outstanding job of coordinating with you guys. She did most of the legwork for us.
Well, let you.
And good luck in the election as well.
Need a lot of prayer. Well, from one combat veteran to another, welcome home, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for your service.
Most certainly. I want to echo that, and thank you guys for everything that not only the servicemen and women, but also their families, because they give back to the community in so many different ways also. And if I may continue the point of privilege, I have some commendations here that I would like to give out to this unit, and I will keep it to an appropriate time level there. If I may again have Captain Burton step forward, please, sir. Thank you for your service to our country. Whereas our nation has fought, continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who have fought on the seas, in the air, and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom. Let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace, that their efforts shall not have been in vain. Whereas we have benefited from the contributions of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service, sacrifice of these servicemen and women as we pay special tribute to these citizens. Whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price through our history, whereas we owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have served in defense of this nation. I therefore, Bill Gillespie, Mayor of the City of Prattville, do commend Captain Zachary Burton for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a platoon leader and pilot. Zachary is a living testimony reminding us of what is important and what it means to be a hero. Thank you. Now, if I might have Chief Warrant Officer Carr come forward. There again, thank you for the services, and thank you for the sacrifice your family has made. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifice of all of those who fought so on the seas, in the air, and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting enduring peace, that their efforts shall not have been in vain. Whereas we have benefited from the contribution of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the life sacrifice of these servicemen and women, so we pay special tribute to these citizens. Whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history, whereas we owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have served in defense of this nation. Now, therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Mayor of the City of Prattville, do hereby commend Chief Warrant Officer Scott D. Carr for his service and sacrifice during his tour 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a pilot. Scott is a living testimony reminding us of what is important and what it means to be a hero. Thank you again, sir. Chief Warrant Officer Townsend. There again, thank you for your service and also the sacrifices your families have made. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all who have fought on the seas, in the air, and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom. Let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting enduring peace, so their efforts shall not be in vain. Whereas we have benefited from the contribution of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service and sacrifice of these servicemen and women as we pay special tribute to these citizens. Whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history, and whereas we owe a great deal of gratitude to those who have served in defense of this nation. And therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Mayor of the City of Prattville, do hereby commend Chief Warrant Officer Kevin Townsend for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a pilot. Kevin is a living testimony to remind us what is important, what it means to be a hero. Thank you. Sergeant Brooks, thank you for your service and the sacrifice your families have made. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifice of all those who fought so in the air and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom. Let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace, so their efforts shall not be in vain. Whereas we have benefited from the contribution of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service and sacrifice of these servicemen and women. We pay special tribute to these citizens, whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history, whereas we owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have served in the defense of this nation. Now, therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Mayor of the City of Prattville, hereby commend Sergeant George Norm Brooks for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a crew chief. Norman's living testimony reminds us what is important and what it means to be a hero. Let me ask you this, being a crew chief, does that mean that if you don't do your job, they don't fly?
That's right.
Okay. All right. Sergeant Evans, thank you for the sacrifices in your service. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas and in the air and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom. Let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace. Their efforts shall not have been in vain. Whereas we are benefited from the contributions of these willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service, sacrifice of these servicemen and women as we pay special tribute to the citizens. And whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history, whereas we owe a great debt of gratitude to those who have served in defense of this nation. And therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Mayor of the City of Prattville, commend Sergeant Ronald Evans for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a crew chief. Ronald's a living testimony to remind us what is important, what it means to be a hero. And there again, without you, these guys probably would not have made it back either. But thank you. Now, this guy, probably, if he wasn't there, a lot of them would not have made it back, too. SPC Alan Adams, if you'll step forward. He was a door gunner. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifice of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas and in the air and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace. Their efforts shall not have been in vain. Whereas we have benefited the contribution of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service and sacrifice of these servicemen and women as we pay special tribute to these citizens. Whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history, whereas we owe a great deal of gratitude to those who have served in the defense of this nation. Now, therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Jr., Mayor of the City of Prattville, do hereby commend SPC Alan Adams for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a door gunner. Alan is a living testimony to remind us what is important, what it means to be a hero. If I need to borrow a 50 caliber, you're the man I need to go see? No more? Okay. SPC Greathouse. Just step forward, please. I believe this is a gentleman that I mentioned. They almost ran out of Velcro because if you notice his name tag, it takes up every bit of that. Thank you for your service and your sacrifices. Whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, let us solemnly remember the sacrifice of all those who have fought so valiantly on the seas, in the air, and on the foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom. Let us consecrate ourselves to the task of promoting enduring peace, for their efforts shall not be in vain. Whereas we have benefited the contribution of those willing to depart the comforts of home to answer the call of duty, and our citizens celebrate the service and sacrifice of these servicemen and women, so we pay special tribute to these citizens. Whereas the freedoms we enjoy as Americans have been purchased and maintained at a high price throughout our history. Whereas we owe a great deal of gratitude to those who have served in defense of this nation. Now, therefore, I, Bill Gillespie, Jr., Mayor of the City of Prattville, do hereby commend SPC Anthony Greathouse for his service and sacrifice during his tour with the 131st Assault Helicopter Battalion in Iraq, where he served as a crew chief. Anthony is a living testimony to remind us what is important, what it means to be a hero. Thank you, sir. In all seriousness, as a group, if you did not have a complete unit, did not have a complete link of chains, none of you guys probably would have been home. So no one position needs to be looked at any higher or any lower than another. But thank you for all the services to this country. Thank you, gentlemen. And also thank you for the families that, like I mentioned before, have all the sacrifices that they have they put forth here on our lands. But if you guys will step forward one more time, we'll get a group picture because we want to put you guys on our wall of fame.
Facing.
Somebody would be so kind to hold our flag.
And do these front guys do all look the same? Sure. All right, step. Thank y'all. Thank you very much.
One thing that I did not mention, too, is that when I was up there, as we were saying, as we were talking earlier, it just seemed like there was a bigger presence of wanting to be a American more than ever whenever you have these heroes come down here before us. Thank you again for all the sacrifices that you make. I really don't have that much of a report for us tonight, believe that or not. Out front, we do have one of the police interceptor units, the first one that we've gotten back from the shops that have put our stripes on it, that have put our the equipment in it, and so it did take us a little bit longer to get it out on the road than I think we anticipated, but it is right out front. If anybody wants to take a look at it right after our meeting, it is there. The only other thing I really probably need to talk about is that it has been reported we do have an election in roughly about 7 days. I know all of us up here are for election except for Dr. Tom Miller. I want to commend you for all the services, even though we will still have more council meetings that you will still be involved in. I just want to wish each and every one of you guys that are running good luck for that. It takes a lot to put your name on the ballot, throw your name in the hat. Probably a lot more than the average person ever really does sit back and think about. Once you start getting out there and start beating the butches, so to speak, shaking hands, answering questions, it's a lot tougher job than the average person knows about. So I do commend you for taking part of this process that we have here in Prattville, Alabama. The further report that I have has been very, very short. I just really want to talk a little bit about some of our information we have out on our website. There has been some political rhetoric out there, and you will find it on our website. If anybody has any questions about the current events of the city of Prattville, if you would just direct them straight to our website. I think most, if not all, of the questions that they have might be there on our city website. That has been, I think, been a very reliable and accurate source for us as we move into this process. But besides that, I believe that's all I have to speak about today, except for my telephone's ringing. Yeah, thank goodness I had it on vibrate, I suppose.
Mayor, did you want to recognize the scouts from Troop, I guess it would be PAC 600? They're here with us tonight.
Well, if you don't mind, won't you go ahead? Because I've actually have never been a Eagle Scout, and so I know you have been.
No, I have not been. I still am.
Oh.
Once you are, you always
I stand
are.
corrected.
Would the scouts from PAC 600 please stand up and be recognized? We are delighted to have you with us here tonight. You're the only future this nation has, so treat us well. Mayor.
Well, thank you for doing that, and you're so correct. I'm certain that I cannot speak for anybody else up here, but the challenges that the mayor's office goes through almost day to day is I'm not doing it for me, for any type of fame or glory. I'm just doing it for the next generation. I'm just trying to make certain that we leave what we're tasked to manage for the future. I just look to see that we make certain we leave it better than what we found it. And I think we've over the last 18 months, there's been a lot of hard work by this body up here, and I want to commend you guys for that. And good luck at the polls as they come up here in, like I say, in the next 7 days.
Any questions of our mayor from any of the councilors? I'm not sure I'll let you speak. Councilor Miller.
Yeah, thank you. This is our first meeting since we won the Coke Challenge, isn't it?
It is.
And I didn't know if you were going to make any remarks about that. I guess you weren't, so now that I'm prompting you. But I do want to take a second to commend the city staff, in particular Teresa, who demonstrated the initiative and motivation to sort of ignite that. And I don't know all the players, but I know the ones that I saw really working long and hard hours. And I just think it's been a phenomenal effort. I think Drew, Leisure Services, had a major role in it, and I know that your office did, and then a lot of community players, and I just think it was a real testimony to what can happen when you get that kind of energy focused in a particular direction. So I want to commend everybody that had a part of that, and I'm excited about it. It's a $100,000 check, right?
Yes, they have not presented that to us yet. That will be latter part of September, and we'll definitely be having some announcement as we move further along with that. But we have also been doing some research as far as some other grants that might be out there, and almost real close to being able to announce that we have found an additional $40,000, but not quite to that point yet, unless I just did announce it. But if you want to look out and see exactly who voted on this splash pad, I know that. Look out here. I know numerous people have voted. Some of our military friends, we had people voting on that from all 50 states. I know several counselors, if not everybody, voted on it. Teresa Lee was a driving force there. She, and I had several people, and it's been a very, very positive thing. And I've had several people say, well, we never heard of a grant like that. And it was a third year for it. And then also there's been some other grants that are being voted on right now for the humane shelter. And so we have actually several different avenues of trying to extend the city dollars and bring different amenities to our area, which in turn brings a better lifestyle, more of a family-friendly lifestyle. And I really see a lot of improvements in that park. It's a twofold thing. We do have 100,000 plus. Potentially 100,000 plus to spend on it. But the other thing is now, since we are America's favorite park, we've got an image to live up to.
Sure.
So it's also a little bit of pressure has been put on us.
Well, anyway.
But I do see a lot of bright futures there, and I was really expecting you to bring that up. So you did
Anyway,
well.
I do want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. And I want to thank the community also. Thank you.
Anything else for our mayor? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Call on Doug Mosley, our finance director, for a report on the status of the city finances. Nothing but good news, Doug. That's all we're taking today.
I think I should be able to supply some of that. The first sheet in your packet is the revenue report, as usual. You'll see that everything is trending very well. You'll see year-to-date we are at 83.31% of our budget. For most of these items, we are 75% through the year, so we're actually running ahead of schedule on many of those items. One that is still lagging is lodging tax. I brought that up to everyone before. We have seen a decrease in that. Of course, we do have one hotel that was here that is currently being rebuilt, and another one that is nearing completion now, so that should start to pick back up. The next sheet you have is the monthly tax breakdown for the month of July. And that gives you the sales tax number that I give everyone at the end of the month. It's a breakdown line by line of what's going on with those and how they've changed year over year, organically and actual. The next sheet in your packet is the expense report. As you'll see on the expenses, we are 83.33% through the year. Most everybody is running below budget, meaning they've spent less. They've spent less than 83.33% of their budget, which is a very good thing. You'll notice at the very last page, total budget, we are at 68% of our budget. So we've spent 68% of our budget, 83.33% through the year, which is an excellent thing, excellent position to be in. The next sheet is the Wastewater Enterprise Fund income statement. You'll notice that enterprise fund is still running in the black. Significantly, we did receive some grant revenue back this month for the aeration basin work that was done. Money was deposited back into that fund. Let's see. Next sheet is the Sanitation Enterprise Fund. That fund is also running in the black. You'll notice it is lagging behind the wastewater department a little bit. They have less operating revenue coming in and high expenses, but they are covering their costs, which is the end goal. And we're working toward actually getting ready to purchase some equipment that they're needing. Probably within the next several months, we should be able to bring that up for the council's approval. That's kind of the information that I gave you in the packet. I also was going to give you some information, kind of an insight to the budget that you'll be seeing hopefully this next council meeting. We're hoping to bring that before the council and get it on the agenda for you to start looking over and to contemplating and kind of picking apart. Just kind of an insight, because the tax is on everybody's mind. We're coming close to the end of where the 1 cent is going to fall off. It falls off at the end of December if something is not done to change it. The budget that we have prepared is built with the assumption that it's going to fall off. And you'll notice that the budget is in the black. We do have a slight reserve built into the budget. But this year, we only lose $2 million in revenue with the tax falling off because of the way it falls off. The next year, we'll lose an additional $4 million. To just give you a picture of what that looks like, if we say that we're not going to lose any personnel or not going to cut any personnel between the budget that we're about to present and the 2014 budget. Obviously, we can't do anything about debt service payments. We have to pay that. That leaves us with $7.4 million to cut. $4 million off of. That leaves us with $3.4 million available. If you look at just the power bill, the liability insurance, and the fuel alone, that's $1.3 million a year just for the general fund. So that should give you a picture of where we're at as far as the tax is concerned.
Any questions by any of the counselors for Mr. Mosley? Before the next council meeting, we will have one or more finance committee meetings, and we'll be reviewing the details of the budget, and the mayor would like to have it presented to the council for consideration by our next meeting. So that's the goal that we'll have. Look for it in your mailbox before that time. Thank you, Doug. We'll go into reports from the council on special committees. Councilor Strickland, do you have a report?
No, sir.
Councilor Wood, do you have a report?
No.
Councilor Brown, do you have a report?
No, sir.
Councilor Miller, do you have a report?
Not a committee report, but if I can, I'd like to ask Chief Brown to come to the podium. I sent an email out earlier subsequent to a request from the fire department concerning the generator that was caught up in the fire at the station, and I think I had alluded to the fact that we might need to bring something from the floor tonight, sort of in that status of an emergency purchase. But Chief has looked at that a little bit further, and I would like for him to sort of fill the council in on this and what his plan is, and in particular that he has a sense of comfort that it's not as urgent, as it appeared earlier, due to some research that he's been able to undertake.
Yes, we did have a fire at Station 2. The main generator emergency supply caught on fire. And just to let you know, that's a heck of a radio traffic to get when you're heading to Montgomery, that a station's on fire. But it was a generator. And looking at it, putting adapters on it, using a portable unit to run the radios if something goes down, not being in such of a rush. It's just like the mayor said, really look at our options there. Go to a natural gas fed where it's a constant supply and reliability is there. And also, I haven't even talked to Robbie, but also look at tying in that intersection on that, be one less area for the Chief Huggins and them to worry about during outages. So I've talked with the mayor this afternoon concerning that. It'll be below the bid law, but it's always good to shop our prices, and we're going to do that and hopefully have that resolved prior to your next council meeting. I'll contact you as chairman about it. Only other thing I'd mentioned to the mayor just here recent, new ambulance came in. Everything's well with it. I told him hopefully I'll have it in service by tomorrow, and the fleet will be back to 6, and that's a comfort zone for me. So I want to thank you for your support on that ambulance, and also we have additional ambulance coming, I think October, Mayor, I believe, and the fleet will be 100%. So everything's well, and I thank you for your support on that, but that's where we stand.
And I appreciate, Chief, you and your staff thinking that through and looking at all the options, and again, feeling comfortable that you've got, for the time being, an adequate plan B if something happens prior to replacing the system that was in the fire. And I got to smile because what better place to have a fire than at the fire department?
When they say heavy smoke showing, the little Explorer I was carrying over did well, Garrett. He spoke at the Capital City Club. He said, Chief, would that mean you have to go back? I said, depends on what's burning. So it's a little bit of a shock. But anyway, thank you again, Dr. Miller, Council.
Councilor Bowles?
No, sir.
Councilor Fink?
No, sir.
Once again, on behalf of the City Council, we want to thank our military. Thank you so much for your service. Thank your families for their sacrifice. Welcome home. We appreciate the members of PAC 600 being here. The future is yours. Treat it well. That being said, There is no agenda tonight, no business to be dealt with further, so the chair will entertain a motion that we adjourn. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a motion? Moved by Councilor Bowes. Is there a second?